Venus, the impulse of Lucifer, stations retrograde for 40 days, 40 nights. Understand. Station in retrograde in Aries, the self, the carnal self, the carnal self. The carnal self, in this context that I'm going to go over, I want us to call to mind the character Jesus. As a spiritual self is the impulse Christ. These are two different contexts of the self. Aries relates to the carnal self, first house. Understand. Listen. Matthew 4, 1-11. Then Jesus was led up by the Spirit into the wilderness to be tempted by the devil, Lucifer. And when he had fasted 40 days and 40 nights, afterwards he was hungry. Now when the tempter came to him, he said, "If you are the Son of God, command that these stones become bread." Command that these stones become bread. But he answered and said, "It is written, man shall not live by bread alone, but by every word that proceeds from the mouth of God." Then the devil took him up into the holy city, set him on the pinnacle of the temple, and said to him, "If you are the Son of God, throw yourself down, for it is written, He shall give his angels charge over you, and in their hands they shall bear you up, lest you dash your foot against a stone." Jesus said to him, "It is written again, you shall not tempt the Lord your God." Again the devil took him up on an exceedingly high mountain, and showed him all the kingdoms of the world and their glory. And he said to him, "All these things I will give you, if you will fall down and worship me." Then Jesus said to him, "Away with you, Satan, for it is written, you shall worship the Lord your God, and him only you shall serve." Then the devil left him, and behold, angels came and ministered to him. So I give you this context. And I give you this context because this is what we're subject to. Every time that Venus goes retrograde, doing so for 40 days, this is what we're subject to. The wilderness is the internal self, the part of self that is yet to be named, identified, understood, clarified. The part of self that is yet to be brought into submission of self-mastery. The aspects of self that requires us to practice governance, control and authority, discipline, autonomy. That which is in self that is yet to be discovered, understood, clarified, and placed and subject to order. That is the wilderness. And in that wilderness, it was the astral body, Venus impulse, that Jesus had this dialogue with. And so likewise, it is you. We now will have this dialogue. Now, before we proceed, Jesus and Christ, these are two different bodies. Jesus and Christ. Therefore, it's in reference to your bodies of identity, which one is in the flesh and one is in the spirit. Understand? The first house, Aries, refers to Jesus, or the flesh, the carnal self, you, which you identify in the physical plane, which is subject to the sensory perceptions and desires through the astral body, Venus, the connection that Lucifer has to you, Jesus, the flesh, the carnal self, Aries, first house. Venus is stationing retrograde, starting in the carnal self. It will eventually retrograde back to the divine self, which is Pisces, or the Christ impulse of the self. Jesus Christ, Aries, Pisces. Do we understand? Listen. The 40 days is split in half. Half of this time we will have with the carnal self. The other half we will have with the divine self. So it starts with the Jesus of the self, and it ends with the Christ impulse of the self. The two identities of the self. Listen. It is through Aries, or the first house, that our five senses has connection to the unique and authentic expression of the self. And that is what relates the first house to the second and the seventh house. That which we desire to experience, feel, know. That which we desire to, relate through, relate with, understand. That which we have value in, and those who we have value in. Understand, second house and seventh house relates to the first house in such way. In the carnal sense, and the physical experience. Physical experience for the first house, Aries, goes through second house and seventh house. This is how we physically relate to and come to understand who we are through the Luciferic impulse Venus, through these particular experiences. Second house being things that we value of material. Seventh house being relationships and connections that we value through other people. Understand? As it relates to the sign rather than the house, this is how spirit connects to that particular identity of the self, the Christ impulse. The Christ impulse relates to the sign, not the house. The flesh self, the first house, relates to the house, not necessarily the sign. There is a difference. So Christ's impulse, therefore, relates to, in the same way as heaven reflects earth as above, so below, the Christ impulse relating in this context of the retrograde to Taurus and Libra algorithm. So where Taurus and Libra is at in your natal birth chart, this is where the Christ impulse is being addressed. The flesh expression of the self, first house, is being addressed through the second and seventh house when it comes to the context that I'm going to discourse on starting right now. So Jesus was in the wilderness 40 days. And it was Lucifer who manifested to him. And what is unique about this experience is that he chose to fast during this time. And we know that fasting, it gives us authority over the flesh. It lends power, authority, and strength back to the spirit, which is what? The Christ impulse. Understand, okay? The divine self. It gives authority back to the divine self. So therefore, Jesus chose to fast during this time. What is interesting about this transit in current time is that we just entered Ramadan. Okay? But anyway, you guys can clap for that. All right? Happy Ramadan to those out there who participate in it. But anyway, what this shows is that Jesus was taking an intentional approach to what he understood he had to process through. Anytime Venus goes retrograde, it takes us down memory lane, past life regressions, opening up portals across timelines and dimensions in order to make sure that we have discovered the wilderness within self and claim authority and entitlement over the territories within the self, which explains the fact that he was in, quote unquote, the wilderness for 40 days, 40 nights. What is that wilderness? That wilderness is the aspects of the self. First house, okay? The self. Aries, the self. These parts of the self that has yet to be subject to your power and authority. That has yet to be named by your consciousness, labeled and placed in order by your consciousness. Oh, I know this feeling. I know that desire. I know this impulse. I know what it means for me to long for this, to long for that, to desire this and to desire that. I have named them because I have studied them. I have paid attention to them within myself, within the wilderness of self. Wilderness is territory that is yet to be explored, claimed, marked, subjected to colonial rule. You have not taken authority over it. Fasting goes hand in hand with this exercise. So Venus is going to open the portals of relationships and things that you value, where you have yet to claim authority regarding how you subject yourself to it, relate to it, or express yourself through it. For some of us, it's the case that we have miscalculated value. And we made the mistake of thinking that our soul was an appropriate cost for a particular experience. That our soul was a wise payment in exchange for a particular experience with people or things. I want that status. I want that career. I want that woman. I want that man. I don't want to be rejected by those people. I want to be accepted by those people. So I will sell my soul as a cost for what I want. And what we want, that is Venus. Understand? Do we see the correlation here? So the first examination is with the first house. So because it's with the first house, these are carnal things. Sexual desires. How we show up and express our outer appearance. Consumptions, how we spend money. Do we waste? Do we overspend? Are we spendthrifts? Are we consumers? Where is it coming from? Are we spending decades and decades in college to get degree after degree? Are we neglecting our family and our children? Other things that are timeless, that requires and demands our presence, our concentration, so that we can have a status, a particular status. Have we sold our soul to have that status? Have we sold our soul to the banks, swimming in debt, to drive in a certain kind of car, a certain kind of gated community, bedrooms galore, and you only use one or two, but you got 6 bedrooms? Where are we selling our soul? Where are we giving away our identity? So that we don't have to face the pain of rejection. So that people will be more likely to accept us, praise us, acknowledge us, give us attention. All of this has to do with how we perceive, how we calibrate, how we weigh, how we measure value. In essence, this is an evaluation of the self through the wilderness of the self. The wilderness of the self looks like such. I know what I'm feeling. I see that I have a pattern of connecting myself with certain type of people and things, but somehow it chips away at my soul. It leaves my soul depleted. Somehow I end up lost in it. There's parts of me that I give away and I can't get back. What am I doing? What is it that I'm really longing for? What is it that I really desire? Or is it that I have a fear? Pisces, the Christ self. Fear can't be in the place of Pisces. Love and understanding has to be in the place of Pisces. And that's the difference with the Christ impulse. The Christ impulse cannot be where there is fear. And fear cannot be where there is the Christ impulse. Therefore, if fear is there, a falsehood is present. A falsehood is present. What is this falsehood? The truth is that I simply don't want to be rejected. I don't want somebody to help to co-create a reality, an experience that feeds back to me that I'm not worthy. That tells me something like I'm not valuable like the other person. And the first examination of this is through Aries. And because it's through Aries, it has to do with how we show up in our physical image and our personality. What is it about the image and what is it about the personality that we betray so that no one will leave us? So that we will be chosen? So that we will be preferred? You're laughing at jokes that you don't find funny at the corporate pizza party. You're agreeing to engagements. You're agreeing to activities that's really not in your heart or soul to do. But your aim is to please other people so that they will not say no. So they will not turn you away. It really boils down to fear of rejection. All of my opinions, everything that I think and everything that I say, I have to check and make sure that it agrees with public opinion. I have to make sure that public opinion is going to co-sign whatever I say. So when my opinion is asked for, when my thoughts are asked for, I say what everybody else is saying. I do what everybody else would want me to do. Keeping in with the in crowd, the popular opinion, the cool kids. Let me speak to your local. You're afraid of being rejected by, quote unquote, the culture. Like Kendrick Lamar says, he's not like us, or they're like not like us. You want to be part of that crowd so bad. You want to be part of that culture. You want to be down. How much have you sold to be down? How many times have you betrayed yourself to be down? How long have you been living a lie so that you could be down? Because of what you think comes with it. Because you place value on what comes with that. You think it's valuable to be a part of that club. The hip hop club. The cool kids club. The club where niggas clap. The club where everybody gonna give you clout. The club where the pretty girls will accept you, receive you, and praise you. The club where the cool dope boys and the super thugs will co-sign you. Where the street niggas will embrace you and say, welcome in. You want to be down so bad. But in being down, you became somebody that you're not. In being down, you sold your soul. In being down, you gave away what was most valuable to you, what was most significant about you, what was sacred. and you struggle to find the answer to, why am I insecure? Why am I unhappy? All this money I spent on labels, wigs and lashes, BBLs, expensive sneakers, gold chains, designer glasses, fitted hats, fake teeth. You see it out there. Expressing myself and communicating in ways that I'm intentionally making sure they know I'm down with the culture, the toxic culture. My opinions and my thoughts and expressions are fortified with agreement to the yes girl crowd, making sure that everything I say is a punchline, making sure that everything I say will go viral, making sure that everything I say will keep them hype. But you sold your soul to do it. You don't even know who you are. It's an illusion. Like Lucifer said, I will give you all these things if you would just prostrate to me. Matthew, which is Matthew 4:8. Matthew 4:8. Again, the devil took him up on exceedingly high mountain. What is that? An exceedingly high mountain. Through your astral body, through South Node Libra, you being so devoted and committed to public opinion, to the in crowd, to what pretty girls want you to do, to what bad bitches will worship you for doing, for what the culture will accept of you and praise you in doing and making of yourself, through what corporate America wants you to do, worshiping the boss, on your knees for the boss, sucking up for the boss, because you want to climb that corporate ladder so bad. You give away all your virtues, you give away all your values, you give away all your morals because you want to be at the big office. You want to be in the big house. Understand? So you climb up an exceedingly high mountain through the astral body, because again it says the devil took him up on an exceedingly high mountain. He took him up. The astral body took him up there. Venus took him up there to those heights. I got a PhD. I got this status. I got that status. I'm an entrepreneur. Everybody today is saying the same things. And what they're saying, Venus, Lucifer, took me up very high on the mountain, and here I am. And I continue, and showed him all the kingdoms of the world and their glory. All the kingdoms of the world and their glory. You want to fit into all of that. You want a good spot in it. What does that relate to? That goes back to Capricorn, Pluto. Capricorn, Pluto. These are the kingdoms of the world and all of the glory. Capricorn, Pluto. The shadow 8. The shadow 8. The devil card. This is the devil card. That which you obtain through the shadows of Capricorn. The climbing of the ibex to the top of the mountain. How many children have we crushed? How many marriages have we disintegrated? How many families have we cursed in order to climb up that high? To get all the way up in an exceedingly high mountain where the devil can give us a view of all of the kingdoms and its glory that we can have access to. How many divorces? How many modest and chaste wives that turned into nothing but sluts and hoes over this journey as a result? Because the only thing that comes with it is being a single woman, a single man. Only thing that comes with it is a promiscuous lifestyle, because these are not people that stay married. These are not people that respect their marriage. These are not people that respect values and morals. You don't get that high being of such a nature. That's why it's the devil card. That's why it's the shadow 8. You betray Cancer. You exceed too far away from Cancer. You neglect Cancer. And where am I getting at with Cancer? Why am I mentioning Cancer? Because anytime you mention the shadow 8, it's the polarity of Cancer. Capricorn is the polarity of Cancer. And Cancer is where we have our security. Our security is not in any other sign except Cancer. And what is Cancer? Cancer is a divine mother. It is your morals. It is your righteousness. It is the sacred values and the sacred order, the sacred laws that governs motherhood, blood, family, ancestors, culture, that upholds righteousness, advocacy, that which is good for the soul, that which is good for the heart, that is what is good for the emotional body, the inner child, to not expose it to danger. And the shadow 8, it betrays Cancer because it steps out of balance and harmony with Cancer, leaving it behind. And where is Mars going direct? You guessed it, in Cancer. Understand. So Mars, Ogun, the god of war, he came there to help us to rectify this situation, to give justice back to the divine inner child. Why? Because through Capricorn shadow 8, we betrayed the divine inner child. We ignored what the inner child needed. We ignored what the inner child wanted, which is emotional security. And that is through what? Living a righteous life. Staying true to your values. Having a culture of enrichment of the soul, of the body, of the heart, of the emotions. Staying grounded and surrounded by people who like you, who love you, who praise you for being exactly you. For having a lifestyle that promotes righteousness, integrity, following of the intuition and the conscious, having a conscious, prioritizing self-preservation over all things, emotional well-being. It is these things that we betrayed. So Mars had to go into Cancer in retrograde 7 long months to get justice for the inner child. So all of this is working hand in hand. And I go on to continue. The devil took him up on an exceedingly high mountain and showed him all the kingdoms of the world and their glory. And he said to him, all these things I will give you if you will fall down and worship me. Have we all not fell into that crisis? And are we all not at this point in our life where we see, because Pluto has left Capricorn and Pluto is now well into Aquarius. And with Pluto at the 29th degree of Capricorn and the 0 to 1 degree of Aquarius, this was a time where we had to clean up the mess of our striving for worldly gain and status. And this is a time where we had to take account of who we hurt, who we lied to, who we betrayed, what we destroyed in order to obtain it. What we made of ourselves and what we became as a result of attempting to climb that mountain like an ibex. And ibex goes with Capricorn. If you don't know what ibex is, don't just listen, picking your nose, licking the window. Look up the shit I say, because when you do, you will understand deeper why I'm saying it. Please. I don't make these videos to entertain. I make it to help. It's effective if you apply it, if you use it. So don't just listen, being a fucking dumb fuck. Listen and actually look behind it. Why the fuck am I saying this? Come on. So all these things I will give you if you will fall down and worship me. So we had to come to the point of realizing in hindsight, hold up, I'm worshiping my job. I'm worshiping my career. Why? Because I want that status. I want to go up to that high mountain. Because I have my astral body in front of my divine self. I'm being led by Venus instead of by the sun, the Christ impulse. I'm being led by Venus, the false light, the false sun, instead of by the sun, the true light. Ah, you see, I betrayed myself. Oh Allah, forgive me. I have wronged myself and I have been unjust to myself. Ah, this is where we realize that. And who do we hurt in doing it? The kids. We set marriages on fire. We assaulted our children. Divorce after divorce. Divorce went all the way up to 70% rate. Well, 70% of divorces initiated by women. Everybody knows this. 90% of them happen to be college graduate or college attending females. And when you're in college, you're an ibex trying to climb the corporate ladder. That's all it is. Same fucking thing. And look what we do in the name of that striving. This is what we were learning from the Capricorn Pluto transit. Chasing the devil. Running up on a mountaintop. And we got to see from the mountaintop all of these kingdoms that were at our disposal. But there's a condition. If you worship me, right? So you worship your job, you worship your career. And when we look at the South Node Libra, you worship women. You worship feminism and you worship liberalism. And there's fear that goes with both. You're afraid to be true to yourself because you don't want to end up jobless, like they call it job scared. You know that they're pushing the boundaries, where you're betraying what your family demands of you, what your physical body and health demands of you, what your mental health demands of you. All of these things. But you ignore it, you overlook it, you keep pushing because you're worshiping the job. And you mistake the job for being source. But job is a resource. Career is a resource. It is not source. The divine self understands that my provision comes from source. The carnal self misunderstands a job or a person as being source. A job or a person is a resource, not source. This is the difference. So it was an illusion that we had to sell our soul, that we had to sell ourselves to do it, that we had to worship Lucifer to get there, that we had to worship Lucifer to have happiness and security in our life. Security is not going to come from how much money you have. Security is not going to come from relationships that you're initiating out here, people with great status. If anything, you get exploited by such. Security comes from righteousness. And it comes from knowing what your values and your morals are and honoring it and never disobeying it, never betraying it. And when you do so, that's when you get to see what Jesus said furthermore. Away with you, Satan, for it is written, you shall worship the Lord your God, and him only you shall serve. How do we worship God? We worship God by staying true to the divine blueprint that we are born with. The fifth house, the heart, soul, urge number. That's what I came to earth to do. Sticking to the blueprint of the natal birth chart. This is who I am and this is what I came here to do. And as long as I'm focused on doing so, I will always be provided for in doing so. I will always be compensated in doing so. I will always be supported in doing so. Not from resource, but straight from source. This is what we have to evolve to understand. And this spells out the crisis and the polarity of Virgo and Pisces. At Virgo, we think we have to work for our resources. We think we have to sell our soul for it in order to fit in. But Pisces, with the divine self, provision comes with it. With the divine self, protection comes with it. Guidance comes with it. Compensation comes with it. You will not lack, because you made up your mind that you will not worship your job. You will not worship pretty women. You will not worship the societal social agreement. You will not worship public opinion. You will not worship money. You will not worship material. You made up your mind. And this is where the security starts to kick in. Because now you're connected to the divine agenda, the divine plan, the divine blueprint that was set out from you before you were even conceived. Understand? Selling ourselves because of the lack of faith in and of itself. Putting all of our bets on what we calculate of the physical plane. That is Ahrimanic. It is Ahrimanic. It is Ahrimanic. And I'm saying specific words so that you could study it. And the devil took him up on exceedingly high mountain and showed him all the kingdoms of the world and the glory. And he said to him, all these things I will give you if you will fall down and worship me. At some point, we had to realize our worship in these career spaces, it caused us to lose ourselves. And everything that gave us peace, everything that really gave us happiness, we lost it as a result. And so the same with blindly following the other aspect of Venus, which goes to South Node Libra, pretty females. Females of society who go viral for what they say on a cell phone. Pretty females who are popular because they show their body all over their pages. No one has more influence than a pretty female. No one has more witchcraft power than an attractive female. And the feminism that is behind that. Because our children were taken captive by the consequences of feminism. Our children were raised in isolation with women, with females. They have no programming from the male. They have no contribution from the male. They have no wisdom or critical thought from the male. The infrastructure of the consciousness has not been contributed to or poured into by the masculine. So we have a generation of fucked up youth. Boys who are really girls in male bodies. And that's very dangerous. Little girls who are whores and prostitutes. And I know you don't like my delivery. I know you don't like me saying it's plain and saying it straight. But I know you're mature enough to handle it. I know you can focus and get the message. I know you can. This is where we're at. Growing up, little kids could have liked science, computers, books, so-called nerdy things. And from my experience, you weren't allowed to be like that if you wanted girls' attention. Especially black girls. If you wanted a black girl's attention, you had to be in the image of a thug or a street nigga. You had to be dangerous. You had to have on Jordans, not regular shoes. You had to have on expensive clothes from the mall or city trends. Labels after labels, stressing your parents out with thousands and thousands of dollars. The first day of school was a fashion show. Going to school was all about fashion, not getting your lesson. You couldn't be yourself because the girls would say, oh, you dusty, oh, you broke, oh, you this, oh, you that. And they grow up into adults and they're still the same person. Oh, you need to be 6 feet tall. You should have 6 figures. I don't want no man that works a 9 to 5. I don't like your shoes. I don't like your pants. I don't like this. I don't like that. They don't like nothing. Unless you're showing up filthy rich, they don't like nothing. The problem comes in where men worship women. And when they worship women, they fear. You see, worship goes with fear. That's a sign that you're worshiping. When you're worshiping something, you also fear what it could do to you. You see how that works? You know you worship women when you fear to go against their opinions, when you fear to reject their opinions, when you fear to tell them no, when you fear to turn them down, when you fear to make them unhappy, when you fear for them to be angry at you, when you fear for them to be upset at you, when you fear for them to not want to talk to you, when you fear for them not to want to call you, not to want to hang out with you, when you fear, you're worshiping. And American males have been worshiping women because of the lust. And it's the same with careers. You fear what the boss is going to say or do. You fear they're going to let you go. You fear they're going to fire you. You fear they're not going to call you in for work or to do that contract. You fear they're going to demote you. You fear you're not going to get promoted next. So what do? You go in the office and you suck dick. And you walk around unhappy with yourself. You can't respect yourself. You can't look in the mirror because you know you on the knees sucking the boss's dick instead of being yourself. And none of us can use the excuse of, oh, it's all I could do. No, it's not. We were misunderstanding, again, resource for source. Misunderstanding resource for source. It was worship. And look what that worship has done to us. We worship the opinions of girls and females. When they start crying, you come running to them. And 9 out of 10 females that's crying is telling a lie. When they tell you up, you believe it's up. When they tell you it's down, you believe it's down. You believe everything that comes out of a pretty girl's mouth. You don't question it. Why? Because she's pretty. Because she's sexy. Because she's curvy. So you laugh at all her jokes. You agree with everything that she says and does. You condone everything that she says and does. And you even go as far as to protect her and defend her. Why? Because she got a big ass booty. Because she got a pretty face. Because she's sexy. Because she's cute. Because she's throwing her nails all in the camera, all over the place, going viral. And you're worshiping them. You're scared to go against what they say or do. You're terrified of attractive females saying, oh, you dusty, you ugly, you this, you that, I don't like you, you lame. You're scared of that. Look how free I am. I'm so free, I scare you niggas. Let me say that again. I am so free, I scare the fuck out you niggas. Y'all scared to be like me. Especially you men out there, you males out there. Y'all niggas is scared to be like me. I'm free. I don't worship women. And ironically, I can't stop them from fucking chasing me, nigga. Look how that worked. I do not worship women. But yet, ironically, they chase the fuck out my ass. They give me plenty of attention. I don't worship them. You do, nigga. And that's why you pathetic. That's why you're sorry. You worship women. You're scared to tell them no. You're scared to go against them. You're scared to check their ass and put them in a place. You're scared of women. You're afraid of not being in her good graces. You're afraid that she will deny you access to a pussy. That's what make you a bitch, nigga. That's what makes you a sorry bitch. And it's sad. It's real sad. You should evaluate your fucking life. That's a sad way to live, nigga. These careers, these jobs, it's the same way. Satan is lying to you. Satan is playing games with you. Jesus said to him, "Away with you, Satan, for it is written, you shall worship the Lord your God, and him only shall you serve." Then the devil left him. The devil left him after that. Why? Because he showed authority. He showed authority. When we choose to intentionally show authority against the astral body's attempt to take control through manipulation of our divine body, the devil will leave. And what the devil leaving means is that the devil will leave the impulse of Lucifer, and the impulse of Lucifer there will serve you with its gnosis. This is the difference. Lucifer can become the devil when it's in shadow, when it's in detriment, when it's leading you, when you're worshiping it. But when the devil leaves, the impulse still remains, but it is Luciferic. And that which is Luciferic, it carries the illumination of Venus rather than the shadow of Venus. The shadow of Venus is the devil. The illumination of Venus is the Luciferic. And that which is Luciferic, remember, Lucifer can be reformed. Lucifer can be reformed. Ahriman cannot be reformed. You see the difference? Again, if you don't know what I'm saying, these are things that you need to study, because when you study it, you will understand yourself deeper. Take notes. Lucifer can be reformed. So when you show that authority, Lucifer gets reformed and the devil flees. Now you have the Venus impulse that serves you rather than distracts and blinds you and misleads you. Understand? Now you're in control of your astral body. You're the authority. You show that you are master. Understand? You shall worship the Lord your God, and him only shall you serve. Then the devil left him, and behold, angels came and ministered to him. What does that mean? Angels came and ministered to him afterwards. When the devil flees, angels ministering, what it means is that you made a choice to ascend into your higher conscious in the moment that you showed authority. And when you step into your higher consciousness, you made yourself open to receive, to have reception of higher frequencies of illumination. And those higher frequencies of illumination, it commands you and directs you the same way that the physical body is directed by hormones. The spirit body is directed by illumination of angelic forces in the same way. And what it leads to is you using your impulses to manifest the image and likeness of God. Okay? So now you're in the track of manifesting Allah, God, because you made a conscious decision to take authority to do so. And angels ministering to you is the higher frequencies of thought are now forming your impulse and intent to action and will. Now you become an instrument for the kingdom of heaven. Understand? And this steps into the fifth house, the sun, Christ's impulse, Leo. So 40 days, 40 nights, we're going to learn things about ourselves because, again, this is through the wilderness. Through the retrograde, a portal is going to open at the seventh house and the second house. So financially, you're going to see where you chose the devil instead of choosing Lucifer. Okay, Lucifer is who you're in control of, that impulse. Okay, the devil is the shadow that manifests as a result of you worshiping that Luciferic impulse. Okay, the Luciferic impulse in and of itself, this is the Venus impulse that guides you to take, that guides you to experience joy and pleasure in all of your creations in life. That is of relationships and of your personal creativity. Okay? Because pleasure does have to be with things. Joy has to be with things. Understand? It is the sweetness of life. Okay? But when you start worshiping it, you sell your soul to have it. It's like a drug. Okay? And worship of things and people goes with fear. And we know that fear is being worked out with Saturn at Pisces. Okay? Saturn at Pisces is confronting us with things that we worship. We could even worship thoughts. Okay? When you have negative thoughts of fear, you can start worshiping it by allowing it to dominate your mind and your reality, controlling you and limiting you, or driving you to actions and behaviors that are quite destructive. So, when we're not, I don't like using words that, that get watered down, healed, okay? But I really mean this word. When we're not healed in this sense, we have to recreate the experience in order to heal. It's the only way to heal. So subconsciously, we create relationships that brings us back into the same crisis. We create circumstances and burdens through the second house that gets us back in touch with our betrayal of our own values and ethos. Okay? So Venus is going to bring us back in touch with where in our second house we are misusing our resources, where we have been misinformed by our fears about what we have taken value in, and the addictions that we have at the second house through our resources and the things that we value, because of the fact that we are worshiping someone or something in order to feel valuable. Okay? Now, the same will happen at the seventh house, where relationship terms, people from the past will come back out to see if you're done with the lesson. Did you learn yet? An old fling, someone who you used to smoke crack with. Okay? I'm saying figuratively, somebody who you was effing around with. Okay? Somebody who you were dealing with because of your sickness. Someone who you were connected to through trauma bonding. Someone who you were dealing with because of your low self-esteem. And this isn't just romantic. It could even be relationship with a particular job or career path. Okay? You took it out. You went that way out of desperation. You started selling drugs out of desperation. You started hanging out with these people out of desperation. Okay? You start associating with this company that works you in the ground, and it's not even worth it. You have no more energy to give love to your children or to yourself, to your husband, to your family, to your loved ones. You just go and work like a dog. You get off and you're lifeless. Okay? And you're telling yourself that it's okay, but it's not. You're constantly getting sick. You're depressed. You're overeating. Your cortisol levels is going up. You're getting fat. Your hormones is all off balance. You look like you got hit by a fucking Mack truck. Okay? So, relationships of all contexts and resources of all kind, of things that we take value in, we have to go through the wilderness to see what we have been doing in the wilderness with these things. In the wilderness. Okay? So, who did you meet in the wilderness? What did you find in the wilderness? Okay? Who and what? The who goes with seventh house Libra. The what goes with second house Taurus. Okay? Who and what did you find in the wilderness? Who and what did you find, i.e., when you were lost, when you were confused, when you were depressed, when you were scared, when you were desperate? You understand? Okay? When you were mentally and emotionally sick in yourself, when you were unhealed, when that Chiron was struggling, okay, to pass those lessons on to you. When that Chiron was telling you that you got low self-esteem, I'm not shit, I'm not worthy, I can't do it, I'm not good enough. Okay? Who were you dealing with when you were struggling with that? You may have to go down memory lane and reevaluate yourself for one of many reasons. It could be so that you can witness yourself of how much progress you have made, so that that closure can begin. It also can be so that you can make a conscious decision to do just as Jesus did, which is, get ye behind me, Satan. Get behind me, Satan, or go away from me so that the devil can flee, okay? So the devil, or the shadow attraction of Venus, will present itself to you again through the 7th house or 2nd house. And you will have an opportunity to consciously decide, go away from me, devil. Okay, go away from me, devil, and the devil will flee. You see, that person again presenting themselves as the Luciferic devil. Yeah, remember how we used to smoke crack behind the building? Yeah, want to do it again? And you say, go away from me, devil. You take authority. Okay, in that moment, I don't want to deal with this. I'm not going back there. Again, this could mean a job or a person, and a romantic fling. You put the context for the 7th house, okay? Also for the 2nd house, same thing. And you say, go away from me, devil, and devil will flee, okay? You took authority in that moment, and you let it pass you by. Remember, it's always an offer in the retrograde, okay? Because if you take the offer, that means you have to go through a karmic cycle to catch you up to the consciousness that sets you free from it. If you reject the offer and put it in its place, as a healed person, you get to progress forward from there, because remember what happened after the devil fled. The angels began to minister, okay? And what it means is the angels will begin to minister to you once you reject what you know is not good for you, what is not authentic to you, what is not healthy for you. And when you do, the angels will minister to you. And what that is you consciously chose to step into the higher frequency of the self. You received it, you acknowledged it, and you said, that is who I am. That is what I deserve. That's the identity that I have to confirm. And when you do, you get ministered and counseled by the angels, or the highest frequencies of your thoughts and intentions and ideals through Pisces and Neptune. Okay? This is when Neptune has a clear ground to start guiding and directing you, because you're not serving two masters. You're not serving two masters. Okay? The clarity comes in. Now, this could also happen with spending habits, as I said. Spending habits, financial matters, property, property. We could fall into worship with these things as well. There could be a thing where you're holding on to something that you decide it has great value to you, because of a limited understanding of that resource as being source, not knowing that source can give you equal or greater value in return for your obedience. Understand? So some curses could come along. For example, you get this nice call from this toxic person, right? This toxic person you were in a relationship with, who is throwing you up and down the stairs, cussing you out, and giving you a black eye every Tuesday. And you got this nice call from this person, and that keeps you attached to this person. All right. So you decide, I don't want to get a black eye every Tuesday, be thrown up and down the stairs. I'm glad he gave me this car, but I just can't let this car go. You put too much value in the car. You worship in the car. You worship in material, because you know that according to your values, according to principle, you're supposed to give it back to that person. But you're still tied through that which you're coveting. You're coveting something, so you're still tied to it. So the curse still has access to you, because you have not let go of that. So the covenant has to come. All of that has to go with the covenant. You see what I'm saying? You're cursing yourself. So it might mean that you have to give away a thing too. Let go of a thing. Okay? And you let that thing go, and what happens? The angels start ministering to you, because it might have been hard for you to do. Damn, I got to get this Mercedes Benz up. I got to get this, this high profile vehicle up, this Range Rover, back to this crazy person. Because, I'm holding on to a covenant. This ain't good. It's cursing me. You give it back and you sit and cry for a minute, but the angels start ministering to you. It's good that you did that. You cleared that karma. You cut ties. You severed the covenant. Now the future has endless possibility for you. You have a clean slate. Now you have peace. Look how valuable peace is. You didn't have peace when you was holding on to it. Now you have peace. You have peace of mind. How expensive is peace of mind? How valuable is peace of mind? Peace of mind turns out to be way more valuable than that piece of technology. The ministers, the angels are now ministering to you. They're helping you to see where value really is. They're helping you to see what really is value. No, the expensive luxury vehicle wasn't valuable because look what came with it. Okay? Chaos and confusion. But when you gave it back to that person who was giving you a black eye every Tuesday, now you're able to see that peace of mind was far more valuable than that vehicle. You see what I'm saying? Now, this could also go in such a way, you got this luxury car, okay? You paying $1,000 a month to keep it because you want to flex. You want people to think that you that nigga. You riding through the hood with, music turned up, seat turned back, black and miles, you know what I'm saying? All this other stuff. You paying $1,000 a month plus $500 a month in insurance, full coverage insurance for this vehicle through a bank loan. This could also be a house. Okay, you're in up to your neck. You're not in a relationship with somebody no more. You got laid off. There's a lot of layoffs right now with the government. Donald Trump is signing away millions of layoffs right now. Okay, it's a crisis with layoffs. So you can't afford this shit no more. It was all good just a week ago, but right now you fucked up financially. You got to readjust. If you're worshiping it, you're going to try to keep it. If you're worshiping it, you're going to try to cling to it. And what's going to happen? You're going to suffer. Why? Because fear has you to attach to it. Fear has you to cling to it. I can't let this vehicle go because I built my whole status on it. I built my whole reputation on it. Everybody think I'm that nigga because I'm riding through with this expensive car. Everybody think I'm successful and I'm just high up in loft on this high mountain because I have this expensive vehicle, because I have this big old nice house. But you can't afford it. In order to afford it, you have to sell your soul to corporate America. You have to sell your soul to the guy who gives you a black eye every Tuesday so he could pay the bill. You desperate, run around here looking for relationships, subconsciously knowing that's because you need help financially, not because you want to experience the bliss and security of loving someone and sharing life with someone. It's insincere. You see? So that burden that you have with that expensive vehicle or that home or whatever, you got to downsize because you don't have that job, you don't have that career, you don't get that promotion or whatever else, or you just simply see that it's not reasonable, it's not attainable, it's not realistic what you're doing. What is the thing that keeps you attached? It's fear. You're afraid of letting it go because you don't want to drop in your status. Where does that come from? The drop in the status, how other people see me. I'm too concerned with how people see me. I'm afraid of how people see me. That goes with 12th house Virgo. Any person who has 12th house in a Virgo, this is exactly how they think. And who's that? That's a first house Libra. A first house Libra. Okay? A Libra rising. Libra risings have this fear. Some people's Virgo falls on the 11th house, okay? That's different. But if you're a Libra rising with Virgo in the 12th house, I'm talking about you. Yeah, that's you. You're in over your head, but you want people to think that you have a relationship status or a financial status and outlook that you really don't have. And you're terrified. You're scared that you're going to be found out as being a regular person, that you really don't got it like that. You don't got a man. You don't got a woman. You don't have a nice vehicle. You don't have a nice house. You're struggling to keep it. You're struggling to keep that person. You're struggling to keep that relationship. You don't even know what's going to be tomorrow. You're struggling to keep that house. You're struggling to keep that apartment, and you're killing yourself at work to pull it off. You're worshiping. You're worshiping. You're worshiping. You're worshiping the devil. That's what you're doing. You're worshiping the devil. But when you say, devil, go away from me, and he flees, the angels will counsel you. You see, that's how you allow the North Node Pisces to come in and bless you with the stellium that's present. Remember, you got a stellium in Pisces right now. Fuck is you talking about? You know what I mean? You got a Pisces a stellium in Pisces right now. That is a superpower of Christ's impulse that's begging to minister you. Those are angels that's wanting to minister you. Come on, I just read it to you. Fuck is y'all niggas talking about? I just read it to you. Let me read it again. Because some of y'all like to pick your boogers and lick the window, you know what I'm saying? But you ain't fucking listening. You know what I mean? But he answered and said, it is written. Wait, where's it at? Now, when the tempter came to him, he said, if you are the son of... No, not that. Where we at? And he said to him, all these things I will give you if you fall down and worship me. Then Jesus said to him, away with you, Satan, for it is written, you shall worship the Lord your God, and him only shall you serve. And the devil left him, and behold, angels came and ministered to him. So this is your chance to get in position for angels to minister you through that Pisces stellium. But the angels can't minister to you if you're still lying to yourself, if you're still worshiping fear, if you're still attached to things because of your fear of rejection, or your fear of losing a status, or your fear of losing what you want people to think of you. You're afraid of losing them. You know what I'm saying? You love when everybody think that you got it like that, or you at this status, or, you know, y'all the ones who ain't got no man, I got a man, but this nigga don't even want you. You know what I'm saying? You want people to think that you got a man. You want people to think that this man is in love with you. So you finding ways to engineer that reputation. You taking pictures that he don't even consent to. You posting it all on the internet and all this other stuff. And this nigga he don't even, you know you in a relationship, but he don't know he in a relationship. Now ain't that some shit? How you know you in a relationship, but he don't? Hello, cuckoo. Hello, anybody home? This happens all the time. And niggas do the same shit. You know what I'm saying? Niggas do the same thing. You got a girl, she got a big dumbass booty. She real pretty. Everybody want it and all this other stuff. And your dumbass is chasing a light-skinned Keisha with the bow legs. You know what I mean? She ain't think about you. But you want the status and reputation of being associated with her, or being of a value that attracts and keeps her. You want people to think this about you, but it's not true. You're afraid of being found out as not being that person. Uh-oh. You're bullshitting. You know what I mean? That's what this is about. South Node Virgo. That's South Node Virgo. That's South Node Virgo. Our fear of losing a status. Our fear of not being perceived as being so perfect as people thought we was. The fear of being a person who don't have it all together. Yeah. South Node Virgo. That's you, nigga. Yeah. So value is changing. What we take value in society, in life, it is changing. We don't take value anymore in surface things, in frivolous things, in material. We don't take value anymore in who's so pretty and who's so sexy. That illusion is over. It's only the dumb niggas that's out here taking value in who got the biggest booty and who's so pretty. The lie, the exposure is up. Everybody sees through the illusion. It's the pretty girls that's the predators. Those are the ones you got to look out for. Those are the ones that'll get you. Those are the ones that'll fuck up your whole life. Those are the ones that's ran through. Those are the ones who got more sperm in their mouth and all the holes in their body than anybody. Everybody know that shit. Those are the ones you can't trust. You got to get you a regular girl, or you going to be fucked up. The regular girls is where the value is at. Everybody know that shit. Everybody know that shit. Except for the basketball players. Except for celebrities. Because they're so afraid of choosing somebody who they know is good for them. They got to get a Barbie doll. Then a Barbie doll walks off with everything that they ever worked for. Goofy. They some goofy ass niggas. So the angels can minister to us once we find the courage to take authority over the self. I'm not listening to that. Because the devil works through fear. He tempts you and manipulates you through fear. Don't you want to have this status? Don't you want to have all this stuff? Oh, you want to? Oh, you want? Oh, okay. So if you broke, say that. So if you broke, say that. That's the devil talking. That's the devil through the Luciferic impulse. Now look at my language. I said that's the devil talking through who? The Luciferic impulse. Who in the physical manifests the Luciferic impulse? It is attractive females. Attractive females in society, that's their number one punchline. If you broke, just say that. They use that. It's like an ice pick. You know what I'm saying? Like when you go to jail, you go to prison, you get an ice pick, you know what I'm saying? Or you sharpen a toothbrush on the floor until it's tight. Until it's sharp. You know what I'm saying? And then you stab somebody, you know. That's the attractive female's ice pick. That's her sharpened toothbrush that, you know what I'm saying? She files a toothbrush on the floor to sharpen it as a weapon. If you broke, just say that. That's her number one bullet. That's the first bullet she uses. If you broke, just say that. Oh, you broke. Oh, you dusty. You broke. You broke. You broke. Oh, you dusty. You broke. You broke. You still scared to be called broke, to be named broke, to be labeled broke. It scares you. That's why you a bitch, nigga. You's a bitch. That's why you a bitch. Because your confidence is in your wallet. You miscalculated your value and you put it in your wallet. Why? Because you worship females. You believe everything they say. You're not free. I'm free. Rather I make 100,000 this year or I make 40,000 this year. Guess what? I got wisdom for both experiences. Fuck with me, nigga. I have wisdom for both experiences. I have the wisdom to live out both experiences and realities of the $100,000 man, of the 6-figure man, and the $40,000 man. I have wisdom to live out both experiences. And my value remains the same. See, these bitches control y'all. They rule y'all because you worship them. That's why y'all some sucker ass bitch niggas. Y'all some sucker ass niggas. Yeah, look in the mirror and just admit that you a sucker ass nigga because you worship women. That's why you a bitch. You worship women. You let them get in your head. You let them trick you. That's Lucifer. Manifests as Satan. An ignorant, attractive female is the devil. You don't fucking know that? Nigga, where you been? Yeah, that's the shadow of Venus. She's the fucking manifestation of devil in the fucking flesh. Yeah. In all of his beauty. Why you think they so attractive? Lucifer was the most attractive in heaven. Come on, man. Like father, like daughter. And like son too, because it's men out here who do the same thing. I think we get the point with that. So 40 days, 40 nights. Now, then Jesus was led up by the Spirit into the wilderness to be tempted by the devil. And when he had fasted 40 days, 40 nights, afterwards he was hungry. Now, when the tempter came, he said, now tempter, okay? Tempter is a point to remember. Through temptation, we study our Venus. Through temptation, we understand our Venus. Through temptation, we exercise our ability to produce authority over our Venus. Venus lessons comes through what? Temptation. Come on. Venus lessons comes through temptation. That's why temperance is part of the medicinal treatment of Venus. Temperance. Temperance is a medicinal treatment to Venus. Thus fasting. Thus fasting. Okay? Jesus was fasting when all this happened. What else goes with that? Minimalism. Minimalism. What also goes with that? Maturity of the palate. Maturity of the palate. Huh? Come on. Now, what else does this remind us of? The number 9 vibration at the South Node through Virgo. Number 9 vibration, okay? The number 9 process is through Virgo. The number 9 service is through Aquarius, okay? Let's not conflate that. The number 9 process is through Virgo. The number 9 service is through Aquarius, okay? The route in between the two is number 5, which is the Hierophant, okay? The Hierophant is the bridge between that, okay? The Hierophant, number 5. And that's to appropriate Venus, okay? That is to take command of Venus. When you take command of Venus, you step into the number 5 energy. Those who have the life path, heart, soul, urge number 5, they are charismatic. They're usually bow-legged. They're attractive. They have, energy about them that just draws attention. Everybody crowds around them. They command the culture. They set the culture, trends and fads. Okay, they know a little bit about every type of culture and religion and background, and they can relate to anybody, everybody. And number 5s always had a crisis in the world where they were worshiping the devil. Okay, number 5s start out in life worshiping the devil. They also start out worshiping their career. Okay, and what I mean by worshiping the devil, they worship the lusts of the world, the lights of the world, the kingdoms of the world. They get caught up in the glory of the world starting out in their life. Then after around 29 years old, okay, the Saturn return, their full Saturn return, 29 years old, this is when they start to come out of the world and they become the Pope, okay, who initiates others into Saturn, okay, because Saturn is the route out of Venus, okay, Saturn is the redeemer from Venus. So they subject themselves to religious study, and religious study, not necessarily becoming a Muslim or Christian, but coming to the realization that discipline, order, structure, obedience to spiritual law, spiritual information and knowledge is their only way to come out of the predicament with Venus, okay? All right. And so the objective of that is the number 9 hermit card process through Virgo. Okay. That's the objective, which is to get in touch with the divine self through the number 9 hermit card process. And what that ends up becoming is a selfless servant, a water bearer. Okay. A person who delivers wisdom from experience that serves humanity. Okay. And that's Aquarius. So we all are in that route right now is what we have to understand. Number 9 hermit card process has everything to do with what Venus is doing right now, 40 days, 40 nights. Okay. We are Jesus going through the wilderness. And this is the time we have to command authority over that astral body. I may have said a lot of things over and over again. Okay. But it doesn't hurt. Now, now when the tempter came to him, he said, "If you are the Son of God, command that these stones become bread." Look at what happened there. If you are the Son of God. The first thing is that he presented doubt to him or challenge to his identity. That's the first thing. What is that? That's the Jezebel. Come on, I need y'all to listen. That's the Jezebel, okay? When you have gotten to a point in your life where you finally realize who you are, you're going to have doubts every now and then. And that Jezebel has a job to do. The Jezebel comes into your life when you finally put your crown on. They don't come before. They only come after you put that crown on. And what I mean by the crown is you accept your divine identity. When you accept your divine identity, here he comes or she comes in the form of Jezebel to deny it. So they will come to you and they will, get in good. They'll find a sweet way to get into your life. And then they'll say, nah, you ain't really what you thought you was. No, you ain't. That ain't you. And what they'll do is they'll hold everything against you that's not consistent with that crown. They'll test you. They'll try to sow seeds of doubt inside of you about your identity. They'll try to get you to do things that edifies their insecurities and not yours. You know who you are, so you don't feel like you need to prove yourself. But they want you to prove yourself, even though you don't feel you have to prove yourself. Look how that works. So what this Jezebel would do, this Jezebel will come in your life, and the first thing they do is they set you up through temptation. Follow me. I know what I'm talking about. And what they'll do is they'll present themselves sweetly, okay? And they will try to lure you into temptation, to violate the law, the divine law. They'll get you to fornicate. They'll get you to lie, cheat, and steal, okay? They'll get you to do things that go against the crown, all right? And once you do it, now they'll take you down. Because what it is they're collecting a case. Oh, but I mean, I know you're a good person and I really don't want to do this, but nobody knows about it. We could just do it, and they'll get you to do this thing that goes against your divine identity. Okay. That's a contradiction or hypocrisy to your divine identity. Once they get you to do it through that temptation, now they got you. Okay. And what they do is they'll hold it against you. Now, what happens is they'll challenge you on your identity and say, you're not any better than I am. I'm not saying I'm better than you. I'm just saying that I know who I am. And me knowing who I am, I can't do that. That's against my values, or I can't do this. But if you already slipped and done something, they'll hold it against you and say, you're not any better than me. You're just like me. Just the other day, you was over here fucking me on the couch. So how you saying you this righteous teacher, or you this person who's helping people and stuff, and you just finished smoking crack with me? You know what I'm saying? So they'll do one of those deals, okay? And what it'll do, it'll break your confidence. It'll break your faith. It'll break your certainty, your conviction within yourself. Now your crown is falling off, okay? And once that happens, they got you. And some Jezebels will go so far as to even expose you to the public, okay? They'll go out to the people and they'll expose you before everybody. Oh, he's not what he says. He's not this, or he's not that. He did this with me and I got the receipts. You know what I mean? Now you holding your head down. Now you doubting yourself. Now you don't believe you are who you are. You understand? And now you're arguing, trying to prove who you are. Okay? You can't argue to make a proof of who you are once you know who you are. If you really know who you are, you won't argue about it. You won't try to convince anybody. That's the thing. Okay? So if you're sitting there going back and forth, constantly arguing and reasoning, you don't even believe who you are. They want you to argue so you can start doubting yourself, because they enter seeds of doubt into you if you argue and go back and forth with them. That's a Jezebel spirit, okay? So, if you are the Son of God, command that these stones become bread. But he answered and said, it is written, man shall not live by bread alone, but by every word that proceeds out of the mouth of God. Okay? Man should not live by bread alone. Bread it's a fruit of desire. It's an object of desire. So they want you to produce an object of desire. If you say who you are, you ain't even making six figures. You don't even got that many followers. I just looked on your page and you only got 10 followers. You ain't that nigga. Nah, you ain't really that, because otherwise you'll be getting mad attention. You'll be getting a bunch of money. You'll be getting clout. Man shall not live by bread alone. So they're trying to sow seeds of doubt into your heart about your status based on fruits or based on bread. Okay? And bread is equivalent to having evidence through desire of self and others, having evidence through Venus. Okay? Evidence through Venus. And evidence through Venus is clout, large followings. I got 100,000 followers. I got 20,000 followers. I got 70,000 likes. I'm popular on Instagram. I'm popular on YouTube. I'm popular on social media. I get a lot of money for what I do. I get paid this and I get paid that as a result of this. And they're the ones who's saying that that's a proof of who you are. But what Jesus is showing you and proving to you is that that is not a proof of who you are. It's not a proof of your status. It's not a proof of your value either. Jesus is clarifying that. Your obedience and fulfillment of the word is what's most consistent with your value. Understand? So, then the devil took him up into the holy city, set him on the pinnacle of the temple, and said to him, if you are the Son of God, throw yourself down, for it is written, he shall give his angels charge over you. He shall give his angels charge over you, and in their hands they will bear you up, lest you dash your foot against a stone. Jesus said to him, it is written again, you shall not tempt the Lord your God. See, people will even misquote, misinterpret whatever you have behind you as a criterion of judgment so that they can manipulate you. Again, that goes through Venus as well. So if they know that you're a Muslim, they know you're a Christian, they know you're a vegan, they know you're a yogi, they know you're, whatever it is that, whatever that you express your spiritual authority through, okay, which are various ways, they will find it out so that they could use it against you. Okay, they would try to use it against you in argument. And that's essentially what we could expect as well when certain things come through the tunnel. For example, somebody knows that, okay, let's say at worshiping the job, for example, worshiping your career. I really need to spend more time, with my children, with my wife, with my family or whatever. I can't work on weekends anymore, or I'll work one weekend a month, but I can't work every weekend like I was doing. Okay. And, you're saying this as a family guy or a family woman. Okay. You're a family person. So that person will use that same criterion of judgment against you. Right. And what they'll say is, okay, I know you love your family, but, don't you love your family enough, to try to get this overtime when it's available? The overtime is available, but you're not taking the money on the table. I mean, what kind of family man is that? What type of family woman is that? I mean, you always talking about family, but, you're not taking the overtime. They'll use those things against you, okay, to suit their agenda. Understand? And this is where we have to learn these tricks. We have to learn these tricks of Venus. Understand? Now, and Jesus, okay, yes. So this is the full of that verse. So anyway, let's freestyle and conclude. To conclude, every planetary transit, it has context across all thresholds of our experience, biologically or biochemically, psychologically, in the physical, carnal realm, spiritual. In every layer, it manifests. What I just got done explaining, of course, goes with Aries, the carnal self. Now, through Pisces, there's a slight difference in what we're learning. And it has a lot to do with boundaries. It also has a lot to do with our ability to form intentions. Pisces is where Venus is exalted. Pisces is a place where Venus loves to be. Because Venus from here gets to utilize imagination to increase its power. Visualization, intuition. And through Pisces, Venus has the ability to be more effective in how it dissolves boundaries of others or dissolves the boundaries of the self. Pisces seeks to dissolve and remove boundaries. When this happens, we find confusion. Because Venus gets us into things that feels good. Venus also gets us into experiences that helps us to experience unity. And unity can be experienced through sex. Feeling unified with the divine feminine or the divine masculine, depending on your gender. Unity through having a child. I want to have that person's baby, or I want that person to have my baby so that we remain unified. But again, Pisces also works through the subconscious. So you may be seeking to create unity with things or people. But in the flesh, in the carnal sense, you're setting yourself up to crisis that you cannot explain. Why would you have a baby with that person and you know you broke? Why would you have a baby with that person and you don't even know this person that well? Why would you have a baby with this person you know you're on welfare? Why, you know what I'm saying? Things like that. But you're still seeking for unity, but you don't see the boundaries. You ignore the boundaries, you overlook boundaries, so you go ahead and do it anyway, not understanding that underneath what's happening is you're seeking for unity with something or someone that feels like love or compassion. But really what you're doing is you're creating destruction for yourself, oppression for yourself in the physical realm. But you have to keep going through these things until you're able to see through these things. Understand? So retrograde Venus, it walks us back on where we were desperate for unity, to belong to people, to belong to something, to belong to someone. And because we were so desperate to have that unity, we didn't have boundaries. And we have to take accountability for what mess it made in us seeking that out. And that accountability is going to come back to a sense of authority with the self and the astral body, Venus and Pisces, and realizing that there's other ways to experience unity for the soul through Venus. And that is through attracting healthy relationship dynamics, healthy interactions with projects, missions, or material things in ways that does not exploit us, in ways that does not leave us with addictions. Also, because of the strength and grit of Saturn, we'll be able to experience unity with others without consuming the identity of others or without allowing others to consume our identity. And this makes a healthy relationship dynamic that is consistent with Aquarius Pluto, because Aquarius does not get attached. It experiences without attachment. It is the water bearer. Understand? So, as Venus backtracks into Pisces, that's when we'll get a view of our addictions. When it goes to Aries, which is starting out in, this is where we get a view of what we have been initiating and creating behind fear. Okay? What fear has been leading us to initiate and create, and that's fear of rejection. Fear of being disconnected from what we're addicted to. Fear of not having access to what we want to indulge in. Also, coming to understand what we have been initiating and creating and co-creating concerning the astral body and relationship terms. To summarize, accountability is behind us because when you have a relationship experience to complain about or report about, this person did that, that person did this, and this is what happened as a result, that's a co-created experience. Co-creation. And the retrograde gives us an understanding of what we have been co-creating and what leads up to our co-creations. What impulses are behind it, what energies are behind it, what fears and lusts or desires are behind what we tend to create or co-create, what we tend to initiate, and how often, what frequency we have in initiating creations of relationships and experiences with pleasurable things or people that are pleasurable, which also can go the opposite, and the crisis that it constantly puts us in, the regrets that we constantly have. You went and started that with this person. Now you don't want it. You went and got this person pregnant. Now you don't want her. You went and got pregnant by that person. Now y'all don't get along. Now you realizing you don't like the person. You know what I'm saying? It's stuff like that. You left that good ass career that you had where you had it made. Now you're over here complaining because you make more money, but you gotta worship the job in order to keep the job. Yeah, it's more money, but you gotta work 7 days a week, 80 hours a week. That shit ain't cute. It's not cool. It's not healthy. We are past that frequency. We are done with that energy. Pluto is no longer in Capricorn. So nobody's supposed to be living at work. Nobody's supposed to be pulling 80, 90 hours. No, you're not a fucking hero. You're not a hero. You don't get brownie points for that. That is not cool, cute. It's not cool. You're abusing yourself. You're oppressing yourself. And you're setting terrible example. Nobody's supposed to be doing that. That is not heroic. Shame on you. Shame on you. So what have we been worshiping and what have we been praising? What have we been edifying and lifting up? What have we been saying is good or not? What have we been saying is the thing to do? Coming down the pipeline, Venus, females of society, they got a lot of things to learn too. You already know I'm about to go there and talk about that. Because it's Venus. What they're going to find is that people are no longer going to be under the spell of witchcraft. This is also undoing witchcraft. Because it's going to allow Aries, the masculine, it's going to allow the masculine to see females from the rear view mirror. When the masculine sees females through the rear view mirror, they're going to see her real intentions. They're going to see what's down the road. They're going to be able to prophesy what's going to happen as a result of getting involved with certain type of females, especially attractive females. And they're going to say, no, I learned that lesson. I'm good. Nah, I'm doing what I'm doing. I ain't got time for that. Guys, men in society are just not going to have time for it. They just not going to fuck with it. You walking around here, you want to be a little whore, you want to be a little slut. Good luck to you. Nobody going to want to fuck with you except for Pookie and Ray Ray. He will eternally be available to you. Eternally. And he'll give you all the babies you want. Just be careful because Trump shut down all the handouts. Ain't no more handouts. So be careful. That's all I got to say about that. Pisces are looking for the unity always when it comes to Pisces. But I can unite with others. I can have unity with others without selling my soul, without losing myself, without compromising my values, without lacking boundaries, without sabotaging myself, undoing myself. And what that looks like for you, you can find that specific signature at your 12th house. That is how you need to understand how Venus behaves when it gets into Pisces. It's going to seek out the experience of your 12th house in the positive aspect, but without boundaries, it will go in the shadow to seek it out instead of illumination. Understand? So that is what's happening. So without giving too much detail, this is the rundown about the Venus retrograde. Understand? This is the rundown about the Venus retrograde. I possibly will be giving out, a lot more details as we go throughout the days. What is more effective is that I work with every person one-on-one. Okay, because when I could work with you one-on-one, I know what your natal chart consists of, and it's easier for me to give you specific details and form a picture of understanding of what this means for you, the Venus retrograde. And you do need to know what it means. Understand? So a reading may be enough, okay, if you schedule a reading with me. But the truth is, what I am learning, okay, as I have many clients, in the evenings where there are readings and different things of that nature, what I have been evolving to learn is that a coaching style, not coaching style, but a guidance style is what I'm most effective with, okay, if I could guide a person. So yes, one reading is enough. I will give you a lot of details, okay, that you could walk away with. Trust me, trust and believe. I think I have enough witnesses who can attest to that. However, if I could work with you consistently, okay, you will find that it's going to transform your life. And it's not because I'm special. It's simply because God blessed me to understand astrology in a way that is transformational and powerful for a person if they really want to understand. Okay. But I have to be able to work with you over a course of time, over a course of months, over even, years, to develop you. And I could do that effectively with astrology, by sticking with you and helping you to evolve through your life experiences, transformations, as events happen, different things happen, whatever. Those interpretations are very important. And each time I will refer you back to your natal birth chart, not talking like a fucking robot, but I would talk to you like a human. I would talk to you like a person who can receive it and understand it, explain it. I will be motherly or fatherly to you to make sure that you get it, that you grasp it, that you understand it, that you can receive it, that you can digest it, and that you also can ask as many questions as you need until you understand it. But that's all up to you. It's all up to you. So these videos are here, and I hope it benefits you and bless you. You know what I'm saying? Shout out to the 90 subscribers that's just, in the background, digging in the ass and, won't speak. That's cool. You know what I'm saying? That's cool. Y'all just sitting there watching, hiding in the dark. You know what I'm saying? I don't know what the fuck you scared of. You know what I'm saying? But y'all niggas just sitting like flies on the wall, scared to fucking speak. But anyway, if I could work with you, it's much more effective because I'm guaranteed to be able to help walk you through what can allow you to really revolutionize your life. And it's all about you. I'm going to show up. I'm going to show up, and I'm going to give you more than what you asked for, believe. So it's really up to you how much you want to change and transform, or you could just be fucking arrogant, and and sit in the dark and hide out, whatever. Oh, I got it. I ain't gonna, no, I ain't gonna, no, I'm good, man. I'm good. All right, cool. Do what you're gonna do. But anyway, I can help you a lot more if I work with you, understand? So Venus retrograde, 40 days, 40 nights. You are Jesus, and you are also Christ Impulse Illumination downloading, because we are becoming the servants through Aquarius, the water bearers. Wisdom is the new value, not knowledge.